Okay, so I've got something to say. Actually, a lot of things to say, but I've got no friends to blabber, so I'm just gonna record myself and post it online. So the thing is, I killed two cockroaches today, and I saw one of them up close, and I saw it suffering, and it was just shaking its leg. And I that got me wonder, like, what actually the spray that I used does to that cockroach that it ends up dying. So now we're gonna go through how that chemical and whatever there is in that spray ends up killing the cockroach biologically slash chemically. Um, and after that, I have something to blabber about, which is like so scientific, and it's from I'd like to say like it's from a point of view which is not human. Like it's from a point of view that an alien or so-called potential god would have. Um, Basically an outsider's perspective on our like living organisms and life basically. And so let's start with the cockroach thing. It turns out cockroaches are so hard to kill. So first thing is they have this wax coating over them, which prevents, which makes them hydrophobic. Their outer exoskeleton thing hydrophobic. By the way, I don't have a biological background. I mean, I don't have biology background, and I'm bad at chemistry. So I'm just gonna say what I understood from my a simple Google search. So it has a wax which keeps it exoskeleton hydrophobic, so it doesn't dehydrate. So the first chemical which is there in the spray acts on it and melts that wax. So that wax get melts up, so other chemicals that can now enter inside that cockroach to finally act on it. And before that, if you don't know, you need to understand how muscles work. And muscles are just like fibrous cells which contract and relax if you give them an electrical signal. So what these other chemicals do is that they goes inside this cockroach, and I was so traumatized with all the things that I read. It just goes inside the cockroach and basically hijacks this whole nervous system of cockroach, and they just stimulate and give a lot of signals to these muscles, just giving them electrical signals so that it start getting convulsions and it start getting paralysis. So its limbs start shaking a lot, and it can't control it. It's still alive. It can feel itself shaking, but it's not the cockroach that's shaking it. It's the chemical which is giving off this electrical signals because of which its limbs are shaking. And that's the reason that its limbs are shaking so much that it flips on its back. And because it loses its control and loses its balance, that it ends up flipping on its back. And then that's why when it flips on its back, its limbs are like basically shaking so much. And and just finding out that they're not shaking because the cockroach is shaking them itself, and it's actually shaking because of the chemical, was so terrifying because I couldn't help myself just comparing that organism to somebody we can have empathy for like a human being. And so it just starts shaking it so much, and it just overloads its whole nervous system. It hearts pump all this oxygen and all those things to to its muscles, which again just exhausts the heart so much. And the cockroach can't breathe, and cockroach is still alive. It's happening to itself like it's a zombie or something, and then it just it just struggles to breathe and just shivers so much, just shakes its limbs so much to the point that its heart gets exhausted and stops beating. That's what happens. That's how a cockroach dies. from spray. I'm saying it so casually right now, but today morning when I figured it out, I was so traumatized. I felt so cruel killing those cockroaches, and I couldn't help. I was looking that cockroach up close, and I was so disgusted. It was a big cockroach, and its limbs were just so big, and I could see how it was trying to get back on its feet so that it could run away, but their limbs were just shaking, and it couldn't help it. Okay, so that was the first part. It was so traumatizing. Like, just and this is where the view comes in. I told this to my one of my best friends, and she went like, she's just so disgusted of these cockroaches, and she's not afraid, but she would not like want to watch it or whatever, something she said. And the thing is, I felt disgusted because I'm a human. In case you don't know why we have this feeling of disgust, I want to blabber about that as well, because I mean, why not? So, as human beings, like as an organism, basically, we just evolve and find out ways to survive in our environment. And all these feelings that we have, happiness, sadness, disgust, fear, all this comes in a wheel of emotions, and there's a spectrum of these emotions. And the thing is, we need these emotions because historically, like in the ancient time, in the back days, if we didn't evolve to have this disgust feeling, we would just go on and eat any rotten food, any rotten meat, and end up getting sick. If we'll just take, we'll just touch any insect, and we'll end up sick and die. So those who ended up developing this feeling of disgust would not touch and would actually run away from rotten things and all these insects. Uh, so they stay away from potential diseases, and that's how we are still surviving today. And if we, so the thing is, but right now we can control our environment a bit, so we don't have to rely on our emotions that like so much. Like they're still helpful, but it doesn't mean that you should not go near a cockroach or anything. Again, I don't have a biology background in academics, so I don't know. But if you do, you might have even dissected a cockroach, so you might not relate. You might, like, I don't know. So but for me it was so disgusting. I wanted to just dissect it a bit and look under a microscope that I have, but I was too disgusted for it. um but I asked myself, why am I getting this feeling? And then I realized I am like, he's when the just hold on, stay with me for a second. Like, here's where the thing of perspective comes in. Like, Um, the way you see it, if you saw it the way my friend described it, you would have not even like gotten near it, and you would not have thought about it. You would have had a human perspective to it that it's disgusting. You need to stay away from it. But what I was trying to have was a more scientific and more outsider and more curious perspective. A better way to understand it would be, again, like I mentioned earlier, an alien or a god thing. So, basically, an outsider to this world who doesn't have these emotions of like whether something is disgusting or something is good, bad, sad, happy, whatever. And they see everything from the same lens. Like, if it doesn't matter there's a human being or an elephant or a cockroach or a lizard or a snake or whatever. They see everything, every organism from the same lens, and the and like, but we can't do that with a human perspective because humans would have emotions. They would feel more sad to the things they're more attached to, like their loved ones. If a, a human would cry and be so sad and might even go depressed if a loved one dies, but they would not feel anything about a chicken dying and killing the chicken and eating them, because I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It's just the way it is. I'm not saying that humans should be feeling the same thing, but you need to. I'm just trying to explain how different perspective works. So, so looking from that perspective, I just got more nihilist that we are nothing to this world, and every emotion that we feel, we fall in love, or we get a breakup, or we lose someone we loved, like they die or something, and a new person is born, and we feel so much, we find them so adorable. All these things that we have going on in our life doesn't matter at all. It's just our emotions. We all have to die one day, and the way you look in a colony of a bacteria or a fungus or a cockroach, we aren't that different from them, and it life's kind of meaningless. And I've just got more nihilist because of this point of view. And what else to say? And yeah, this podcast that I would like to mention, from the channel called The Rest is Science. And I watched two of their podcasts today, and the whole day I had this whole scientific mindset. And then after killing those cockroaches, I just feel like our lives has no meaning at all. Like right now, I feel like even if I were on my deathbed, I would be happy. I would be smiling. I'd be joking about it, even if I knew that I was gonna die soon. And I might just enjoy the life that I got to have, because here's the next thing: how rare life is, how how special we can say. Like I might sound a bit contrary that I just said nothing matters, and now I'm saying that it's special. But no, I'm just saying that our lives doesn't matter, but the existence of life is it just has so less probability in this universe. And here's this one funny thing that I was feeling this morning. Before, I think that was before when I killed the cockroach. I don't remember, but I was just feeling so amused and so uh so surprised by our own civilization, our whole human civilization, and basically life on this planet. I mean, like, for you, I might be sounding so stupid right now. Just bear with me. So what I'm trying to say is, I was feeling the way how you might feel if you find out that there's some other planet that we have found, and that planet has organisms, like it has life, and they're using their environment and adapting to their environment and changing the environment to have better life, like how we are. And how you would feel, you'll feel like, oh my god, it's actually real life outside of earth is actually real, and it's incredible. You'll feel like it's a miracle, right? that's the feeling I'm talking about. And when I got this perspective of an outsider, when I removed the lens of a human, I realized we are one of them. Like how small Earth is compared to the whole universe. Like take example of Sahara Desert. If you know how big Sahara Desert is, it's just whole North Africa and stuff, all the Sahara area. And imagine a single grain that a specific grain that you have to find. It's just gonna be so random, and that's how Earth is in this universe. It's just a rock floating in this whole space, and it has life. It has life, and you just go in this vast ocean of space and then find a really, really tiny rock. And in that rock, if you zoom in, you find these creatures building up things, building building buildings and all these settlements and technology using their environment for themselves. Just incredible. I thought that was so I was so flabbergasted just thinking about it because it is actually real. I was feeling the same way as if we had found something like that other than on Earth. The reason why we don't feel it on this feeling on a daily basis is that we are those civilizations. We are the people who are living in this planet. We are the living beings. So it's so obvious and it's so common and so normalized to us that we feel nothing about it. But when you remove that lens, when you stop thinking from a human perspective, that's when you realize we we are aliens. Like aliens definition is any living being other than uh Earthians, like the people living on Earth, but that's the thing. You have to remove this lens of you being an Earthian and see it from perspective of a god or an alien and look at Earth. We are the aliens. We are the living things. We are colonizing our planet. We are just using our environment. Now I feel like I'm repeating the same thing, but it felt so incredible to think of it that way about how incredible yet meaningless we are. Because I mean, I'm just done at this point. I, I don't think anyone had listened to me this far. If you have, that's I mean, like I can't believe that you have. I think like nobody's gonna watch this video, but if you have to leave me a comment maybe so that I know I'll feel a bit happy that somebody was there to listen to my yaps. And I'm done.